So hi, welcome to today's episode. Today I'm going to be looking at 5 things that I know now that I wish I knew back when I was starting out making wedding films around 5 years ago when I began. I think there's going to be some really useful tips for those of you who are starting out yourselves. So let's get to it. Okay, so the first piece of advice I've got for you is to follow your own path. When I came into doing wedding films, the first few I just did my own thing. I didn't know what a wedding film was supposed to be. I just showed up and filmed things that caught my eye that I thought were important to the couple, little moments between family and friends. And the same when I was editing. I edited them in my own way and they were quite unique. But then going later into that first year, I began watching lots of other wedding filmmakers' work, and without knowing, you start absorbing their styles, you start to follow like the template for the industry, and you lose that unique character that you had from the beginning. So yeah, when you start, just follow your own path, get a feel for what's important to you, and bring in your own personality and experience into your films. The next tip I've got to share is that equipment is not nearly as important as you think. When you start out, you think that you've got to have the best camera or the best microphones in order to do a good job, and it's simply not the case. Instead of spending your time looking through hundreds and hundreds of reviews, you should be spending more time learning about lighting, about composition, about how to record good audio. All of these things are going to have a much bigger improvement on your wedding film than having the best camera. My next tip concerns audio. Audio is much more important than you will think when you're starting out. It's easy to focus on cameras and lenses and getting the best looking footage that you possibly can. But if you're doing this and the quality of your audio is poor, if you're just recording the speeches on a camera from the other side of the room, it's really going to detract from your film. It's going to be hard for people to hear what is being said at the wedding, and your video will suffer for that. What I'd recommend when you're starting out, there's some little recorders by Sony called the TX650. They're relatively cheap and you can just pop one on the jacket of whoever is speaking and they will capture great sound. So don't forget about audio, it is very important indeed. Okay, my next tip is about how you can practice before you actually film your first weddings. There are certain things that happen on a wedding day that you can replicate at home. For example, you often start a wedding day filming the bride having her hair and makeup done and trying to kind of get the best shots that you can of that part of the day. You can do this at home if you have a wife, a girlfriend, a sister. Why not film them having the hair and makeup done? Learn about filming from different angles, getting wide shots, getting close-ups. You can learn so much that then when you do your first wedding, you're prepared for these parts of the day. That brings me on to my next tip. My next tip is about how to get your first weddings and whether you should charge for them. My first weddings, I just put an ad on a Facebook wedding group and I just asked if there are any couples out there who would like a wedding video and do them for free. If you go in and say that you're doing it for free to get some practice, you just are honest with them and just say that you've not got any wedding footage to show yet, but you will come along and you'll give them a video. It might be that they wouldn't be able to afford a video otherwise, so do your first 2 or 3 for free, really learn how the day works, and then by your third one, the quality of your work will be improving and you'll be really seeing some great results. So then you can start to charge, and just try and then charge something that you feel your work is worth at that stage in time. Well, that concludes my tips today. I hope you found them really useful. If you have any questions relating to what I've said, please pop them in the comments below and I'll get them answered. And if you're somebody who's been making wedding films for a while, why not share what your tips are to people who are starting out? Why don't we share the knowledge that we've learned along the way? And I hope you've enjoyed the video, and please subscribe and like it, and I'll see you next time.